Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and you may have seen part one of my Facebook Marketplace expedition, which was that Power Mac G5, the one underneath the desk. If not, you can check out that video. Well, now for part two, because I made two stops. I swung by and picked up Power Mac, and then a bunch of computer odds and ends. So let's see what we've got in this box. A bunch of miscellaneous cables, Ethernet cord, miscellaneous power cord. Oh, so it appears to be, VGA with a VGA to DVI adapter. Nice stuff to have, nothing I need, but hey. Now, this is pretty cool. There's, according to the ad, there's supposed to be some RAM. Well, I don't really need it, but why not? That RAM has come attached to riser cards for, I believe, a 3,1 Mac Pro 2008. Now that's pretty cool because, I mean, the cards, one card will sell for about 25 bucks plus some Hynix server RAM here. Now, these are all 1 gigabyte sticks, so no big deal, but it's certainly worth something. But wait, not one, but two. And this is OWC memory, 2 gigabytes, so that's 8 gigs of RAM, which is a little more to think about. Now again, not things that I need, but it doesn't hurt to have them. And heck, I could flip them, I'm sure, on eBay for maybe 75 bucks for the pair. Alright. An HP mouse. This doesn't want to come out of the box. Pretty screw in there. There we go. And an HP keyboard, USB, and both basic, but seem in very good shape, and wouldn't hurt to have them around. Alright, now for the cool stuff, the reasons why I went. There's this little adapter here for a Mac Pro. Now I've already, the idea is you take one of the hard drive sleds in the Mac Pro and you can put a 2.5 inch drive, either a laptop hard drive or an SSD. Now I've already taken a 1 terabyte SSD and put it on a sled because I had plans. I've done the same thing with this. We have a Seagate Barracuda 750 gigabyte hard drive, which I have also put onto a drive sled because of similar plans. Alright. Now, this is a good one. An NVIDIA Quadro 4000. Now, you can find these on eBay for not much money at all. But you can see there 4 Mac The Mac versions of these cards will usually sell for somewhere between maybe 115, 150, or a little more. Well, they're offered for that. We don't know if they're actually going to sell for that. All right, now there are a couple interesting things. It comes with its power cord, which I'm going to take out. And as I understand it, the PC versions of the Quadro 4000 came with an S-Video port. The Mac versions didn't, but this one's got an adapter. Now, to tell you the truth, I haven't got any use at this point for that S-Video. So I'm going to take that out. We'll put it aside, in case I develop a use for it in the future. But yeah, I've got a plan for this. Pardon the abrupt cut there while I got everything ready, because this last thing to me is very, very cool and very, very heavy. This is a 20-inch Apple Cinema display. One of the line that were the successors of my 23-inch Apple Cinema display back there. All aluminum, as you can see. Now, part of what makes it so heavy, and it is heavy. You can see these on eBay, very cheap, 25 bucks. But beware, because they will often lack the power adapter. Without the power adapter, this is a very large and quite effective paperweight. Alright, now you may remember that Apple Cinema display has an adapter which will go into a DVI. It's intended for Apple Display Connector, which is proprietary, and there are very few cards that actually have it, so that adapter is there. This has got that built in. There is no Apple Display Connector. This long and very thick cord has got DVI, but there is no DVI in on the monitor. It has to have this cord. And we have, in addition to that, this plugs into the power adapter, connecting power for all of these things. USB. Oh, FireWire 400. And on the back, so those would plug in, all this plugs into the computer, of course. On the back, we have two FireWire 400 and two USB 2. So you can plug your keyboard with the mouse attached into the monitor, exactly like you can that one. That will connect, when you plug in the monitor, you have to plug in the USB, and you can get two additional FireWire 400 ports easily available there in the back of the monitor. A cool system. That's a FireWire. That plugs in here and powers the whole thing. So without this, your monitor does nothing. Alright. Now, all these things that I've highlighted, the SSD adapter, the hard drive, the NVIDIA card, and in fact, this monitor, all are going to end up relating to the 2008 Mac Pro. So if you want to see where that's going, please stay tuned. Alright, I thought we'd start with a quick look at the new setup of this lovely 20-inch Apple Cinema display. The computer that's connected to the display right now is not the 2008, it's the 2010. The 2008 is prepared for its upgrades, but this at least shows you what the machine looks like as the 2010 works away on its folding. I thought it would be helpful to have this smaller monitor on this desk because it shares the space with my beloved late mother-in-law's 2009 iMac right there. The screen is currently asleep, but it is also busily folding as well. Now, the 2008 Mac Pro is down here awaiting its upgrades. The plan is, first of all, to put the new graphics card in. Secondly, to install the hard drive, which will be used for storage, and the 1 terabyte SSD, it's a Crucial SSD, which is going to become the boot drive by virtue of cloning the existing the existing installation, which is on 1 terabyte hard drive, which is located in SLED 1 right now. Once that's done, we can erase that hard drive and have that for additional storage as well. All right, let me get this set on the tripod and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, time to perform the upgrades. This is the 3.1 2008 Mac Pro. Just to create a little bit more room, I'm going to remove these empty sleds, which I don't know if that helps you see or not. There's a little more light in there. Yeah, the process, the graphics card is the more difficult of the two things, not that it's difficult. Remove this. Unplug power. Now, the one thing about it, I think you can probably see here where my finger is, each of these PCIe slots has got a retainer clip that you have to lift up. Now, it's hard to see with this card in there, so I'm going to lift that up. And this should, yes, it does come out. All right. And there we go. So, we now take the ATI Radeon. Before we actually plug it in, let's get the power into it. And that is in place and installed. Now, yeah, okay, we've got, hadn't thought about that. Of course, the ATI Radeon takes up 2 slots without putting that S-Video adapter in, which, as I said, I really don't need. I'm going to have to see if I've got another slot cover handy. I know I have some, but I'll just one right here. All right. Try to get that in place. Okay, and there we are. Now, this in. It's always a pain. I'm going to find where the, okay, there's a hole. in place. There we go. I keep saying it's a better idea to use a screwdriver. Do I ever follow my own advice? Alright, so changing the graphics card is that simple. Now, the joy of working on these. Adding more storage. This happens to have a number 4 slot cover. Just slide that in. Makes its connection. This is the number 3. And I am OCD that way. And that makes its connection. And just because I hate to leave an empty slot, where's the number 2? Here's number 2. Put that one in. All right. Put the cover back on. Life is good. Yeah, that little bit of damage down there, but not a huge issue. Okay, so the next step in this process is going to be booting up the machine. Now, should I run the disk speed test first? Yeah, I can run the disk speed test, and we can see what that is, and then we'll clone the drive. And rather than comparing a blank drive with one that's full, we'll do it that way. Okay, so stay tuned. Well, here we are on the El Capitan desktop. We have our 3 drives now. The WD-HDD is the current boot drive. It's a 1 terabyte spinning hard drive. Macintosh HD is that new 750 gigabyte hard drive that was part of the package. And then the Crucial SSD is a 1 terabyte SSD with nothing on it. Let's take a quick look at about this Mac. And yes, we have our dual 2.8 gigahertz quad-core processors and 32 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM, which we've had in there. Startup disk is WD-HDD, which we want to be changing. That's going to come up presently. And then our graphics card. This is a big one, NVIDIA Quadro 4000 with effectively 2 gigabytes of video RAM. Now, the ATI card that was in there had 1 gigabyte, so this is a substantial upgrade. At what ended up being a reasonable price considering that bundle of stuff that I got. Alright, take a quick look at our storage. Western Digital hard drive. This is a pretty new installation. It's a little over 15 gigabytes used. Macintosh hard drive has nothing on it. The Crucial SSD has nothing on it. Oh yeah, and we should look at displays. We've got our Apple Cinema display with a 20-inch screen, 1680 by 1050. And I do find that things fit in much, much better on this desk with this display. All right. Now, what we want to do first of all, let's run the Blackmagic disk speed test. Okay. All right, so we seem to be hitting somewhere between 120 and 125 megabytes per second, which actually, for a spinning hard drive, that's not that bad. Uh, now, so let's back out of that. Just remember that 120 to 125 when we go through the next. Now, you may possibly remember that I recently did an upgrade, putting an SSD into a 2010 5.1 Mac Pro. This is not going to be nearly as dramatic as the effect that we got from that upgrade. And the whole reason being primarily, we are limited here. These are SATA 2 buses. We are limited to the SATA 2 speed. An SSD is always going to be faster than a spinning hard drive, even on that same SATA connection. But it won't be anything like the kind of amazing results, I thought, that we got using that NVMe SSD. All right, well, so let's fire up Carbon Copy Cloner. Now, click here to choose a source. Can we drag and drop? We can drag and drop. All right, and we'll choose a destination. All right, so we are going to copy these 15.2 gigabytes from here to here. Now, it's a blank drive. We shouldn't really have to safety net on. We'll turn safety net off because there's nothing on there anyway. All right. Copy all files. I think we're good to go. So we will clone. Oh, that's right. I get kind of used to my PPC lifestyle, as Piraga1 once phrased it, and that older version of Carbon Copy Cloner where that just doesn't happen. And it actually works very, very well there too. Okay, now this clearly is going to take some time. Hopefully not too much, because it's a fairly new installation of El Capitan. But you certainly don't need to be sitting here through this entire thing. I shall do that for you. So, please, stay tuned for the results. Well, this was remarkably quick. It was maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit under. Now, Carbon Copy Cloner is very cool because I might well not have thought of this. Once it's done with this, it offers to create a recovery partition. Now, if you're just using Carbon Copy Cloner as a backup tool, you really don't need that because you're just saving your data. But our intention here, of course, is to use this SSD as the boot drive. So, of course, we're going to make a recovery HD. Now, I'm curious. I don't know how long this is going to take. I would think it shouldn't take too terribly long. I was verifying the file system, checking the catalog file. Yeah, I love Carbon Copy Cloner. That's why I bought a license for it. It'll do everything that you need it to do just on the trial version, the free version. but you know, it's really worth something. Okay, I think it's going to be, yep, there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to click down here, start up disk. Let's verify Crucial SSD is showing as an option. Let's unlock, so we can select that and then lock it again. Now what I'm going to do is shut down and start it up, and I will see the boot times. El Capitan has behaved very, very well on this hard drive. I've been quite happy with it, but it is really slow to boot up. So I'm going to be curious to see what kind of difference this makes. So I will do that, and we will be back and run some benchmarks on it. So please stay tuned. Well, we are back, and yes, that was a tremendous difference in boot time. Mac Pros will always tend to boot up slowly, particularly if you've got a lot of drives in there, and mechanical drives especially, because they've got to spin up. It just takes time. So you get, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds before you even get the boot time. Even with that in mind, booting off the hard drive, I assume we're booting off the SSD now. Booting off the hard drive just took a long time. I never timed it. I should have. But yeah, from the moment I hit the power button on this, bang, 30 seconds, including the spin up time pre-chime. Well, we should make sure, shouldn't we, about this Mac? Yes, startup disk Crucial SSD. So that has been successful. All right. Now, first, while it's fresh in our minds, what a mess this is. Let's arrange that by name. All right. Blackmagic speed test. All right. And 265 in the read. Let's let it run through this a couple more times. Yeah, so the hard drive was about 120, 125. This looks to be reading in the vicinity of 240 write, 255 read. So it's about twice as fast, which is certainly considerable. It's not the NVMe SSD. To my knowledge, there would be no way of getting an NVMe SSD to boot. You could put one on and, I mean, use a scratch disk or whatever, but you know, I'm not likely to start doing video editing on this machine. Okay, so we will regard that as being successful. Now, the other thing we'll want to do would be Geekbench, and I think I saved a screenshot. Okay, this is the Geekbench 4, which is all that will run on. I didn't need to move it to the desktop. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Okay, So yeah, this is the Mac Pro early 2008. This is uh, post upgrade, so this should be the score that we got with the ATI Radeon 5770. So why don't we? I have a Geekbench down here in the dock. Okay, now we see it's recognizing. It's doing the OpenCL test. Yeah, it's not metal supported, nor did we think it was going to be, but you know, there's no absolute need to have metal support on a 3.1. If you want to run Mojave or Catalina, you're going to have to do it with the patcher anyway, whether you have metal support or not. Alright, so this is going to take a while to run, and we will be back with the results. Stay tuned. Well, that ran very, very quickly. I am glad to report. I'm sorry, I'm distracted a little bit looking at this screenshot. May 29th, 2020, 2:11 a.m. That clock must have been off. I was not running Geekbench at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can assure you that. Alright, anyhow, we can see the distinction here. Our OpenCL score with the NVIDIA Quadro 4000 is 17,023 and 10,535 for the ATI Radeon 5770. So we see a gain here of about 650, give or take. And of course, you can rerun these tests and they'll come out slightly different in other times. But you know, that's a notable change. So I think we can look at this as being a successful set of upgrades. I'm going to quit out of Geekbench. I'm not planning on save that. I'm not planning on upgrading the graphics card again. Never say never. I'm going to set the machine back to its task of folding, and we're going to see if there is any difference. I am not anticipating that the machine will be more successful at folding than it already was with these upgrades, but now if I do notice a difference, I'll pop in with an addendum clip. But for now, I think we can conclude this video on a successful note. Be good to other people. Be very good to yourselves. Take very, very good and careful care in these difficult times. We will be back with you really soon with more videos. This has been Broken Electronics.